Hey guys, I'm Martin Spot and welcome to week 35 of the 2018-2019 Premier League review. If you want to know the series, what we do is we take a look at the past set of Premier League results, we take a look at the Premier League table, and we finish off by looking at the top goal scorers. So here are the past set of Premier League results. These games were played on Saturday the 20th, Sunday the 21st and Monday the 22nd of April 2019. Next to the games are their times in this video, so if you want to hear about a specific match, you can just go to the time next to the game and you'll skip out all of the crap. But without further ado, let's get into our first match. We start with Everton versus Manchester United. Everton took the lead 12 minutes into the match as Richarlison put the home side in front. It came from a throw-in from the left side. Luca Dean takes it and launches it into the middle. Dominic Calvert-Lewin won the flick on at the front post, and it went to Richarlison, who did well to acrobatically fire it into the net from 12 yards out. And Everton doubled their lead just before the half-hour mark as Gylfi Sigurdsson got the goal. Idrissa Gueye got the assist as he strode forward into the United half and laid it off to his left for the Icelandic midfielder. Sigurdsson just easily walked past Nemanja Matic before taking aim from 25 yards out and placed it past David De Gea straight into the bottom left corner. And Everton got a third 10 minutes into the second half as Luca Dean added his name to the score sheet. It started with a corner from the left hand side for Everton that was swung into the middle. De Gea comes and punches it away, only as far as the edge of the box though. It bounces, and there to catch it on the drop was Digne, and he smacked it through a crowd of bodies and past an unsighted De Gea into the bottom left. And Everton got a fourth in the 63rd minute as Theo Walcott got a goal after coming off of the bench. Gylfi Sigurdsson started the move by bringing it down on the left wing. He looked up and played it forward to Walcott. His first touch was poor, but he busted gut to get to the ball before anyone else and calmly rolled it under De Gea and into the net. And that's how the game ended as Everton outclassed Manchester United and exposed all kinds of problems that United now must deal with. United now face a fight to secure Champions League football next season after these 90 minutes where they were just tortured by Everton all over the pitch. In the sun, Everton swarmed United like bees from the first minute and never looked like slowing down. Idrissa Gueye marshalled the defence and midfield, whereas Gylfi Sigurdsson and Bernard were creating chances from the first whistle to the last. It got to the point where United were being ironically cheered by not only Everton fans but their own travelling support as well, where they managed to string 3 passes together, which goes to show how poor they were. They've been on a string of poor results recently, losing 6 of their last 8 in all competitions, and they have now lost their last 5 away games in succession for the first time since 1981. And we move on to Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace took the lead 17 minutes in as Christian Benteke got his first goal in a year. A free kick was awarded to Crystal Palace and was took by Luka Milivojevic. He swung it into the middle right under the head of Benteke, and he was completely unmarked, and he powered his header past Leno to give the visitors the lead. But Arsenal levelled it up just minutes into the second half as Mesut Ozil got the equaliser. He started the move by playing it wide to Alex Iwobi. He stands it up before tapping it inside to Alexandre Lacazette. He turns his man before reversing it to Mesut Ozil in the box. He's at an incredibly tight angle, but the German fools the keeper and dinks it home from the acute angle. But Crystal Palace retook the lead 10 minutes later as Wilfried Zaha got the goal. Shkodran Mustafi, you've been rubbish recently, but you haven't made an individual mistake. Welcome back. A free kick was launched into the Arsenal half. Benteke wins a flick on, but there's no one there. Easy stuff. Mustafi control, get rid of, sorted. But no. He wants to leave it for his keeper when there's just no way on earth that Leno can get to it. Instead of trying to get it out, Mustafi stands there and watches as Wilfried Zaha darts past him and pokes the ball under the keeper and at the net. And then Mustafi blames Leno for it because he's a bit crazy. And Palace doubled their lead 5 minutes later as James McCarthy got the goal. Yet again, another set piece caused Arsenal problems as Milivojevic put a corner in. Scott Dan won the initial header and nodded it towards goal, but James McCarthy was there to redirect the header and send it past Leno from a few yards out. But Arsenal would cut the deficit in half in the 76th minute as Pierre Aubameyang got the goal. It's a great run from the striker. He weaves in and out of players as he made his way from the right wing to the centre. He tries to link up with Lacazette, but it was intercepted. Fortunately for Aubameyang though, the ball came back to him and he drilled it into the bottom left corner with a first time effort. And that's how the game ended as Crystal Palace mathematically secured their place in the Premier League next season. It was perfectly set up for Arsenal. Tottenham lost the day before and they just watched United being pumped by Everton. They could put a foot in the Champions League, but like so often this season, Arsenal were let down by their defenders. I feel a bit bad for Leno, you know. You watch any Arsenal game, you see him make some mad saves, but because he's got players like Mustafi in front of him, there's not much you can do. The phrase, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, springs to mind. but I reckon we should change it to you can lead Mustafi to the ball, but you can't make him clear it. Palace have been poor at home this season, but have some pretty good results away from home, which includes that win at Man City, and now they can add a first win at Arsenal's home ground in 25 years to that list. Arsenal started the second half well, and Ozil's goal should have spurred them on, but Arsenal fell away, and despite a late rally, they failed to do anything with the pressure as Palace booked their place in the Prem next season. And we move on to Newcastle versus Southampton. Newcastle took the lead in the 27th minute as Ayoze Perez opened the scoring. It was a good tackle from Isaac Hayden on the halfway line to win the ball back. The tackle fell to Perez and the Spaniard does well to hold off his man. He had Rondon in the middle, but he squeezed it through the legs of Bednarek and into the opposite corner with a touch of the post. And Newcastle doubled their lead just 4 minutes later as Ayoze Perez got his and Newcastle's second of the evening. Again, Southampton lost the ball, and this time it was just punted up the pitch and Solomon Rondon worked to get on the end of it. Rondon took it to the byline. Ayoze Perez was galloping towards the back post and Rondon spotted him as he put it across the face of goal, and Perez hit it into the ground and bounced over the keeper and into the net. But Southampton were going to go back in the 59th minute as Mario Lemina halved the deficit for the Saints. Nathan Redmond had the ball on the left. He put it across the box and it bounced off of Stuart Armstrong. Lemina ran in, picked up the loose ball and placed his effort into the bottom right corner. But Newcastle wrapped the game up in the 86th minute as they got their 2-goal lead back as Ayoze Perez completed his hat-trick. A corner was put into the middle and Southampton just couldn't clear their lines properly. Mo Diame had the ball and he dinked it back into the middle. It was headed but not away, and flying into the ball was Matt Ritchie, and Perez does so well to just redirect the ball past an already diving goalkeeper to get his first ever Newcastle hat-trick. And that's how the game ended as Perez's first hat-trick for the Magpies secured the win and Newcastle's place in the league next season. In the first half, Southampton were bossed about by Newcastle as the home side pressed them all over the pitch and pretty much squeezed the life out of the Saints. A tactical switch at the break though allowed Southampton to get back into the match, and they should have equalised as Maya Yoshida volleyed over the bar with the entire goal to aim at. After Newcastle slowed down a bit in the second half, it looked like Southampton could get back into it. That wasn't until Ayoze Perez completed his hat-trick and got his 10th league goal of the season, and he's the first player to do either of these things for Newcastle since Gini Wijnaldum did it in 2016. And we move on to Chelsea versus Burnley. Burnley took the lead 8 minutes into the match as Jeff Hendricks put the away side in front. It came from a corner for the visitors that Dwight McNeil put into the middle. It was cleared but only as far as the edge of the box where Jeff Hendricks was waiting for it, and he hit it on the volley straight into the bottom corner. But Chelsea levelled it up 5 minutes later as N'Golo Kante got a rare goal. Eden Hazard has made his defender look like a right tit. The Belgian has the ball on the left wing. He walks his way into the box like he owns the thing, cuts in and out over and over again. Matt Lawton's being pulled from pillar to post before eventually falling over. Hazard then looked up, rolled it across the box to Kante, and the nicest man in football hit it first time straight down the keeper's throat and into the back of the net. And Chelsea took the lead just 2 minutes later as Gonzalo Higuain gave Chelsea the lead for the first time in the match. It was a lovely finish from the Argentine as Callum Hudson-Odoi ran into space before going back to Azpilicueta. He laid it off for Jorginho and the Italian put it on the edge of the box for Higuain. His first touch is sensational to just spin away from his man, tap it off to Azpi. Azpi gives it straight back and Higuain smashed it home via the underside of the bar. But Burnley levelled it up in the 24th minute as Ashley Barnes made it 2-2. Yet again, a Burnley set piece wasn't dealt with as Ashley Westwood floated a free kick towards the back post. It was initially met by Ben Mee, who headed it back across goal. It's a bit too high for Chris Wood, who can only flick it backwards, but that worked for Ashley Barnes as he was completely unmarked at the back post and he put it home. And that's how the game ended, and after a lively start to the game which saw 4 goals in the first quarter, the rest of the game just couldn't live up to the flying start. After all the excitement, the rest of the match was dominated by Chelsea pressure, but they just couldn't find a goal that would have won them the game. Burnley have all but secured their place in the league as they are 9 points clear with 3 games left, so 1 more point and they can mathematically say they're secure. This game was a missed opportunity for Chelsea as the other teams around them have a game in hand, and after watching the other teams involved in the top 4 race all slip up, they could have really used the win knowing that the teams will play the games in hand this week. It was a frustrating night for Chelsea as they saw Callum Hudson-Odoi and N'Golo Kante both go off with injuries, but despite having more than 3/4 of the possession and 4 times the shots, they couldn't find that third goal as Burnley dug deep and got the point. And we move on to West Ham versus Leicester. The home side took the lead in the 37th minute as Mikel Antonio put West Ham in front. It's good play on the wing by West Ham as they keep the ball on the left. Robert Snodgrass eventually played it forward to Mark Noble. He floated it into the middle and there getting in front of his man was Antonio and he headed it home. But Leicester levelled the game up in the 68th minute as Jamie Vardy got the equaliser. The chance look like it was gone as Leicester came forward. Gray put it through Declan Rice's legs, and they don't put the ball in the middle, and they go back, but then they turn, come back forward as Harry Maguire put it wide to Ben Chilwell, and he put a ball across the face of goal, and getting onto it was Vardy, who just touched it past Fabianski at the near post. But West Ham retook the lead with less than 10 minutes to go as Lucas Perez got the goal. Felipe Anderson just strode forward down the left. He gave it to Perez. He wants to shoot, but instead gave it to Mikel Antonio. Antonio gave it to Felipe Anderson, and he touched it off to Pedro Obiang. It's a good work by West Ham. He took a shot. His shot cannoned off of the base of the post, but getting onto the rebound was Perez, and he tapped it home. But Leicester nicked a point in the 92nd minute as Harvey Barnes got his first goal for Leicester. Yuri Tielemans with the assist as he slid the ball through to Barnes, who timed his run perfectly. Barnes then took a touch in the box before rolling it back across goal and into the bottom left corner. And that's how the game ended as Barnes' first goal for the Foxes saved a point for them. It did look like it was coming after West Ham scored their second, and Perez should have got a brace, but he was wrongly rolled out for offside. Leicester looked poor for the opening hour. They sometimes looked lively on the break, but lacked any killing edge. West Ham seemed to always attack down the left wing in this game, which left West Ham in a comfortable match as the much larger Mikel Antonio was left with Ben Chilwell, which he naturally always had the better of in the air. After 3 straight losses, it will be nice for West Ham fans to get back in the points, but they will be feeling that it should have been 3 if not for that wrong decision. And we move on to Huddersfield versus Watford. Watford opened the scoring early in the match as they took the lead just 5 minutes in through Gerard Deulofeu. What a finish by the Spaniard, I really like this one. Jonathan Hogg lost the ball high up the pitch. Abdoulaye Doucouré was tackled nicely, but the ball rolled to Deulofeu. He dragged it back before stroking the ball into the bottom right corner via the post. And Watford doubled their lead in the 80th minute as Gerard Deulofeu got his and Watford's second of the game. It's unlucky for Huddersfield this one as Doucouré drives forward, lays it off to his right for Ken Sema. He was forced wide but managed to get it across goal to Doucouré. His shot was well saved, but the ball fell kindly to Deulofeu and he gobbled up the rebound. But Huddersfield got a consolation goal in the 92nd minute as Karlan Grant made it a bit more bearable for Huddersfield. A cross from Chris Lowe was headed up by Mariappa. It went back to Lowe, who looped a headed pass into the middle, and Karlan Grant snuck in front of his man and headed home to ruin Watford's clean sheet. And that's how the game ended as Deulofeu's brace kept Watford's European dreams alive. Deulofeu came back into the squad after Deeney's suspension against Arsenal, and the Huddersfield defenders just couldn't deal with him, and he will be vital in Watford's quest for a Europa League spot or an FA Cup, or both. Watford have performed above and beyond what most people expected them to, as they've won 6 games away from home in the league this season, the second most in their history, and they're just 1 away from matching that record as well. Whereas on the other scale, it's a bad record that Huddersfield have matched as they've lost 14 home games this season, a joint record in Premier League history, and more than likely they will break the record of 14 which was set by Sunderland in the 2002-2003 season, and again Sunderland did it in 05-06 as well. And we move on to Cardiff versus Liverpool. It was a dire first half. Both teams had good chances, but neither keeper was really tested, but one team would take the lead 10 minutes into the second half as Liverpool took the lead as Gini Wijnaldum scored only the second away goal of his career. A corner on the right hand side was taken by Trent Alexander-Arnold. When he took it, I actually thought he scuffed it at first, but he drilled it across the ground. Wijnaldum ran to meet it and he thumped it home first time into the top right corner. And Liverpool got the perfect chance to double their lead with 10 minutes to go as they were given a penalty. Not sure how I feel about this one. Salah brought the ball down inside the box. He's trying to turn his man. Sean Morrison has got his hands all over Salah. He's basically hugging him. It's a wrestling move. He's looking like he's about to German suplex him. It's not enough to go down. Salah does make the most of it, but it's just clumsy. Anywhere else on the field, it is a foul and a free kick. But because it's in the box, unless you go down, the referee is not going to give it. If that's on the halfway line, it's a free kick all day long. So if it's in the box, it's a penalty as well. James Milner stepped up to take the spot kick and the veteran kept his cool, sent Etheridge the wrong way and drilled it into the bottom right corner. And that's how the game ended as Liverpool went back to the top of the league, but Cardiff made sure that the away side had to work for it. The Cardiff defenders stood firm against the Liverpool front three, who all had chances in the first half. Klopp's side had to be patient as they dominated possession but struggled to find a way past the defence in the first half. That wasn't until Liverpool's corner routine as Gini Wijnaldum nearly broke the net. Cardiff weren't without chances though, especially down their left as Nathaniel Lendes-Mang had the better of Trent Alexander-Arnold constantly in the first half and curled an effort just over the bar early on. And even after Liverpool went ahead, they had their moments as Sean Morrison mistimed a header as he hit it back, and if he gets clean contact with that, it's flying in. Liverpool had chances to extend their lead as Henderson put a good chance over and Etheridge made a fantastic save to deny Salah, but Liverpool kept strong and picked up their 9th win on the bounce in all competitions. And we move on to Manchester City versus Tottenham. Man City took the lead very early on in the game as Phil Foden got his first ever Premier League goal. Bernardo Silva started the move off by cutting in from the right and driving across the box. He looks up and dinks a ball into the middle for Sergio Aguero. He could head towards goal, but instead chose to head it across the face of goal, and there diving in like a majestic salmon was Foden, and he headed home from close range. And that's how the game ended as Man City got revenge on Tottenham for knocking them out of the Champions League last week. It was far from what we saw in that second leg though, as both teams looked nervous and City relied on Edison to make crucial saves. After Foden's opener, Tottenham had plenty of chances in the first half, and 3 of those came for Son Heung-min, but 3 times he was denied by City's Brazilian shot stopper. The sound at the final whistle was a mix of joy and relief. This win was massive for City, and everyone in the stadium knew that. City needed to pick themselves up after the Champions League disappointment, and they did just that as they dug deep and ground out the win. And we move on to Bournemouth versus Fulham. Fulham got the perfect chance to take the lead 5 minutes into the second half as they were given a penalty. Fulham worked it well on the edge of the Bournemouth box, and Bournemouth are trying to close it down without much luck. Alexander Mitrovic gets the ball in the box. Danny Simpson sticks out a foot, the ref has no hesitation and he points straight to the spot. Mitrovic also stepped up to take the spot kick and he sent Boric the wrong way and slotted it into the bottom left corner. And that's how the game ended as Fulham picked up their first league away win all season. This result summed up Bournemouth's up and down season as well, as they went from pulling Brighton's pants down last week to being disappointing this weekend against already relegated Fulham. Bournemouth had roughly 70% of the possession, but they failed to do anything with it in a first half where they were on top. At the other end of the pitch though, Mitrovic was a pain in the entire match and caused the Bournemouth defence a headache. Mitrovic did spoil Eddie Howe's 500th game as a manager as Fulham picked up back-to-back Premier League wins for the first time since April 2014. And finally, we've got Wolves versus Brighton. A 0-0 to end the episode off. It'll be considered 2 points dropped for Wolves though, who were by far the better side. Matty Ryan was the busiest man in the West Country as he denied Leander Dendoncker, Diogo Jota, and then with 3 minutes remaining he again made a crucial save against Dendoncker. Wolves will be wondering how the hell they didn't come away with 3 points, but Brighton fans will be hopeful as they moved a little further away from the drop zone. Right, so that's all games we got for this time. Before we go, let's take a look at the Premier League table and top goal scorers. Starting off with the Premier League table. Start with the top 5, and as you can see, Liverpool are on the top after beating Cardiff. Manchester City are second after beating Tottenham, but they will play their vital game in hand midweek. Tottenham are third after being on the losing end of that result at the Etihad. Chelsea moved into fourth after the entertaining draw with Burnley last night, and Arsenal make up the top 5 after losing to Crystal Palace. Moving on to the bottom 5, and Huddersfield are on the bottom after losing to Watford. Fulham are 19th after picking up back-to-back wins. Too bad they couldn't do it earlier in the season though. Cardiff make up the relegation zone after losing to league leaders Liverpool. Brighton are 17th after a goalless draw with Wolves, and Southampton make up the bottom 5 after being beat in the northeast by Newcastle. Moving on to the top goal scorers, and as you can see now we have a 3-way at the top, with the top 3 all being on 19 goals but are separated by assists. Sergio Aguero is on top on 19 goals and 8 assists. Next is Mo Salah on 19 goals and 7 assists, and the only person in the top 5 to score this week is next as Pierre Aubameyang is on 19 goals and 5 assists. Then we have Sadio Mane on 18 goals and 1 assist, and making up the top scorers is Raheem Sterling on 17 goals and 9 assists. Right, so that's all for this time. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll be back on Thursday at 4 PM for the next episode of the Premier League review. Yes, we've got a midweek episode because there are games of people catching up, and I do believe that they are the final midweek games of the season, so we're all set up for the final run-in. If you want to stay up to date about anything we do, it would be best to follow us on Twitter. The link to that is in the description, or it's at portionofsport_. If you missed the last episode, that'll be on the right hand side of the outro screen, and a link to the channel will be on the left if you feel like subscribing. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. I've been Mark from a Portrait of Sport, and I will see you soon. My mama calls, see you on TV, sunset shit done changed. Ever since we was on, I dreamed it all. Ever since I was young, they said I will